no matter what happens, if you get cheated on, you are never, ever going to post this shit on social media. Crazy text that girls send after getting dumped. Love this one too. This one is great. I know a guy, his wife left him, and he goes on Facebook and he writes this like 16 paragraph thing explaining how he was good to his kids and all this kind of stuff. And all I was thinking is, when I saw that, I was like, dude, you don't understand. Every girl who reads this is going to think somehow this was your fault. You did something dumb. Everyone is going to remember you for the guy who got cheated on. Like, I tell my guy friends, no matter what happens, if you get cheated on, you are never, ever going to post this shit on social media. That's just a rule that I have for my clients. But people, after they go through breakups, they send these crazy texts, like one after another, thinking that they're going to get a reaction. And I thought you had a really good response for that, which is, you just act like it didn't really matter at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely more manipulative tactic in some ways, but I would say from someone with an ego, I think I've always regretted when I've sent those texts. First of all, you're going through your feelings right now. Your emotions and their emotions are going to change. That's definitely advice that I give. Have I always followed that advice? Obviously not. It takes a while to learn that. And I still have moments where in that moment, I feel like that text makes sense and I should send it. But based on the research that I've done and based on male dating advice coaches, they've talked about how men expect you to go, for a woman to go crazy after they dump you.
Mm-hmm.
They expect you to go crazy. They expect you to act out. And most of the time, the guy already prepared in his head that he was going to dump you. So not to mention, when you get dumped by a woman or a guy, they've already know they're going to dump you. So there's nothing you can do in that moment to change their mind most of the time. Unless they're dumping you for attention, that's completely different. So, hold your dignity. Begging someone to love you, it's like, do you really want to be in a relationship at this point with someone that you had to beg to love you? Think about that.
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Threatening someone that you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
That's just really unfair for the other person. And again, in what world do you think that person is going to want to be with you now? And then C, acting all crazy and all that, like, people's true colors come out after you two break up. So it's always important to pay attention. If after you two break up, your ex goes and fucks all your friends, you probably, even if you had a small window of getting back with them, you're never going to get back with them now.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. I'm not saying you don't need to do any of these things in order to get that person back. But normally when we get dumped, we're thinking of how we can get that person back for our own ego.
Sure.
If that's what you're worried about as a woman, because everything I just said is for men and women. But as a woman, well, actually, no, men and women, this is advice for men and women. When you get dumped, the other person expects you to go crazy, and that's the last thing they're looking for. They're over it. So when you get dumped, you tell them, if it's in person, here's the advice. If it's in person, and the minute they go to start talking, saying everything you didn't do, you can do, I'm going to stop you right there, because the person I'm going to be with, the person I'm meant to be with, will never speak to me that way and will never talk about me that way. I just want to say I appreciate what we had, and I appreciate the honesty. So thank you. And I'm going to go because I have other plans. And basically, you can even put a timer on your phone where you can make sure that in 30 to 45 minutes of a face-to-face conversation that you need to go.
Yeah. So
you have something else going on, and then you leave. So then the other person's going to think, A, what the fuck just happened? Did they just have the upper hand? B, where did they go? What did they have going on? C, did I rush into this? Maybe they're not who I thought they were. And then D, did they ever even give a shit about me?
Yeah.
And I think for at least for your own ego, that's the best way. And now one thing I do tell women, this specifically for women, don't post those pathetic quotes.
God, those quotes, those fucking meme quote, the sad ones. Yes, bro. It doesn't help anything.
The guy doesn't care. If anything, it's going to make him feel better, or it's going to make him feel relieved that he broke up with you when he sees the crazy quotes that you're posting. I actually do the opposite. When I'm really mad at guys that I date, which that's my toxic thing, or we just break up, I look like I'm having too much fun. Which is also like,
so it's
so obvious.
You right now, like, I'm petty, and I'll tell you right now that. So my advice is, number one, if you're a guy you got broken up with, the first thing you need to do is you don't block. You unfollow, but don't block. And also, I mute anything that they I mute their IG story, because the reason you have to do that is because they can still see that you're watching their IG story. So IG story gets muted. Don't block. When you block, that's too much. Like that's showing that you care too much. But unfollow is reasonable. And the other thing, that's what I would recommend if you're in a situation where you got broken up with. What I would take it a different step is that, like, if you're a guy and you're just dating around and a girl ghosts you, additionally, what I'll do is if a girl ghosts me, doesn't respond, I don't respond back. And I will post me having the best fucking time. And for me, that's a big deal. The best fucking time ever. I literally have a folder on my phone called Fire, and it literally is me in Jamaica with like 73 girls on a yacht. And I'm like, oh, just having a great time. And even though consciously the girl knows that I'm not actually in Jamaica, it's really weird the effect that happens, because then I see 15 IG stories in a row and she watches all of them. And so I know it's a little petty, and I know it's a little toxic, but that's something that I do. I don't respond. The other thing I will tell you guys is, if you do end up getting into a situation where you have to send the text, do it on IGDM, because you're going to unsend. You cannot unsend on iChat after 5 minutes, the new unsend feature. The unsend thing is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in the history of DMing. Being able to unsend things is absolutely terrific. So I would recommend doing that. But yeah, man, not reacting is definitely the only way that it works, because it makes people, every time someone goes out with you or breaks up with you, they're buying or shorting a stock. That's what they're doing. And when they short your stock, meaning they break up with you and you just do better and you don't affect them, it's like, it's what Shakespeare said, the greatest revenge is a life well led. That's the thing, is you just go live your life better. The difference is now we have social media, so they can watch the rest of your life all the time.